loves, welcome back to my kitchen, and in today's video I will be sharing with you another of my favorite sweet treats, coconut turnovers. So let's get cooking. Okay loves, so we are starting this recipe by making the filling for our turnovers, and we are going to add to a pot that has been placed on low to medium heat 2 cups of finely grated coconuts. Now guys, this coconut I had freshly picked and I grated. We're adding half a cup of light brown sugar, 1 teaspoon ginger, 1 teaspoon cinnamon, and 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now guys, you already know we don't do anything in the Caribbean without our spices. And we're going to go in with 1 cup of water. Ooh, hear that sizzle. Now guys, we're going to mix up all those ingredients until everything is nicely combined, until we get all those spices to just really infuse into that water so it can go through to the coconuts. So we're going to keep mixing to ensure that everything is nicely mixed in, and once we see that it gets to this point, we want to let it simmer there for a little bit. We mix it around just to ensure that there is no sticking. Guys, you want to cook this coconut for about 10 to 15 minutes. So when we see it this way, we cover it up, and after about the first 5 minutes, we take off the cover, mix it around a little bit so that it does not get stuck to the pot. We are then going to add half a cup of water, because guys, this filling, we do not want it to be too dry. We want it to be nice and moist so that when it comes up from the oven, it does not feel too dry in the dough. So when we add that half cup of water, we then cover it up and let it simmer for another 5 minutes before we take it off again. Now at this point, it looks good. If it was a little dry, you could go ahead and add another 1/4 cup of water or so, but at this point it looks good, so we're going to keep it just this way. We are then going in with 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. We are turning off our heat, and once that vanilla extract is mixed in, we then set it aside to cool. Now guys, here is the other half of that dough that we used for our raisin buns. So we cut it into 4 equal pieces, and we put each of those pieces into 4 little dough balls, like this nice little cute circles that we're going to use when we're ready to roll out for our turnovers. Once we are done, we then take a little flour and put on our surface so that we can start rolling out our dough. Now guys, you want to keep this into a circular disc as much as possible. It may not always be possible, but try as much as you can to keep it into a nice circular shape, because when we fold it, it's going to be much easier to put it together. Roll it out to about 1/4 of an inch thick, and then we take that beautiful filling that has been cooled, and we take a heaping tablespoon and put in the bottom half of that dough. Now we are going to be very generous with this, guys. A heaping tablespoon and you know, a little bit more just for good measure. We then fold it over, and if there is any excess that you want to cut off, you can go ahead and do that so that you ensure that it is nice and in line. We then press it together, you know, to start sealing. We then take a fork and put it into a little bit of the flour, and then we use that fork in order to seal the entire turnover. Now once we are done sealing, we then put it on our pan that has been oiled and lined with some wax paper, and we do the same thing to the other 3 pieces of dough. Roll it up to get to that nice circular shape, about 1/4 inch thick. Nice heaping tablespoon of that filling on the bottom half of the dough. Fold it, press it a little, use the fork to seal, and then we place it on our pan. Now once we are done doing that with all the dough, guys, we want to cover it up and let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. Now after that 10 minutes, this is what it looks like. We're going to take some butter that has been sitting at room temperature, and we're going to pass it on the top of those turnovers. Once we are done putting the butter, we take some of our brown sugar and we sprinkle a little bit on the top, and then we place it into our oven that has been preheating at 220 degrees Celsius for 25 to 30 minutes. And there it is, fresh out of the oven, and it looks so good. Now we are taking 1 tablespoon of coconut milk and we are going to brush it over the top of those hot turnovers. Now guys, this step is optional, but trust me, you do not want to skip this. The coconut milk gives that extra coconutty flavor and it adds that nice little glaze to the top of the turnovers. You don't want to skip this step, you really want to get it done. So do this when you're making your turnovers. Now once we are done brushing on the coconut milk, we're going to let it sit to cool for about 5 to 10 minutes. Once it is cold, here it is. Oh, look at that little stretch from the filling that has dripped onto the wax paper. We then just take it, put it onto our plate, lay it out nicely. It looks so good, guys. It really is beautiful. That dough is just awesome. We break into that turnover and we see that beautiful golden coconut filling. The dough is not too thick. It is just so beautiful. The cinnamon comes through, everything comes through. It's just really good. But let me know, guys, in the comment section if you have ever had turnovers. This is actually one of our favorite sweet treats here on the island and one of my favorites. I absolutely love making turnovers. If you're in the Caribbean, do you use a different name for it in the island that you're from? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye. Nous les baby, on débat nous toutes ces bagages.